Hello again, ladies and gents, and welcome to this impromptu live with myself and the beautiful Venus twins. Good evening to you guys. Good morning here. It's obviously Monday morning. You guys are obviously in the evening there in Australia. We wanted to do.
Hi, AJ.
Hi, AJ. Thank you for having us on.
Well, I'm going to get feedback on my. There we go. So I was getting a bit of feedback on YouTube. Yeah, sorry guys. So we want to do this live today because obviously the Venus twins have been working extremely hard, and they've brought this amazing course to the forefront, which I'm doing myself. It's an absolute game changer, and for somebody like myself, and I know there's lots of people watching. There's a lot of people like myself in 2020, 2021 felt very isolated, felt very ostracized from society, but just kept going, kept plowing along, and kept trying to show their friends and family that like what we were facing was extremely nefarious. It wasn't for the benefit of the people. It wasn't safe and effective. It was completely the opposite. As somebody doing this work now and all this learning off the back of the stuff I've already done over the last sort of 12 to 24 months from in the healing aspect, this is an absolute game changer. And for somebody like myself who was that person who thought all my family were going to die and all this kind of stuff, and it was horrendous, and had lots of sleepless nights about it and lots of arguments, and I fell out with so many family, but this is actually for me a huge liberation, because we've said all along it was always going to be we the people who heal the people. And as the doctors and GPs and medical professionals aren't going to kind of like all stand up and admit that they were wrong and what they did and the plunges they pushed weren't of good use. So it's always going to be about we the people heal the people. So between people like myself and what I'm doing like physically, and obviously what the Venus twins are doing like remotely and physically, and as well as millions of other people around the world, and that number of people is growing rapidly as people are stepping into their soul missions and the true purpose, and they're very much going down the healing modalities. The Venus twins have channeled this game-changing course. It was always going to be through them. That's one of the reasons why they're here. And that's why we're here today, ladies and gents, to talk to you about this absolute game changer, and to just shed a bit of light on it, and obviously to give some hope to the millions of people out there and or the people who watch this, that there is lots of ways and means to help you get back to your optimal health. So welcome to this morning's live. Ladies.
Thank you. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you very much.
Really happy to be here. Yeah, we really appreciate you chatting with us today. And how much of the course have you done?
Nearly all of it. So like I said, as you guys said, just take your time with it. You got to integrate it properly, because it's not something you just rush through because then you can run out the door trying to be a superhero. It's you've got to take your time with this kind of stuff and really embody it and understand the structure and the deep dark agenda of the actual whole thing. Just like we need to learn mind control techniques, because if you can understand mind control, you can understand the agendas. And this is exactly the same. This is a deep dark web of tapestry, isn't it, of nefarious wrongdoings in multiple different ways. So what you guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal, and me being given the chance to be able to do this as well is an actual life-changing thing for me as well, because as you know, so many people in my family have been injured or obviously had them and died. So it's all right to just give a bit of a brief background about yourself, girls, before if people in the audience aren't familiar with who you are and what you actually do.
Thank you. And we're so happy that you're doing the course and enjoying it. And it's a gift from God. It's something that we never asked for, and it came in very beautifully and gently, and what brought us to tears. And it continues to evolve, this course. It's like a living, breathing book. So if you decide to do the course, it's yours forever, and it evolves, and our faith just keeps on becoming deeper and deeper. So that's just a start.
I think AJ wanted us to introduce ourselves, though, too, to the audience who don't know us and haven't watched any of our videos to this stage. So we both woke up at the same time in 2020 to the agenda that's been going on, but we never knew each other until we met in April 2021. And it was a series of synchronistic events that led to that. I was reading Dolores Cannon while we were locked up and getting very interested in who I was, what I was here for, what so many people were going through at that time as they went inside themselves at that time. And I really wanted to do some past life regressions. And so just by all these synchronistic events, I ended up meeting Claire, who was in the middle of doing Dolores Cannon's QHHT past life regression course. And she gave me a regression. And she happened to live at the end of my street. And so we're both in Melbourne, Australia. That's how we met. We felt instantly like there was a connection between us and like we knew each other somehow. We got along really well. And then we both just continued on our spiritual path that we were on. And it was a change of career for both of us, or a change of direction completely at that time.
Complete
So Claire was a nurse. I had been, prior to that, a singer and performer. I was a ballet dancer for many years and performer too in that way, and then got into a role in business for many, many years. So our careers were quite different to what we're doing now. We both did a complete
But haven't the backgrounds in each of those careers for both of us have really helped us in what we do now? We complement each other really well.
We've found that with everybody we've met since too, who's trying to find their purpose in life and why they're here, and they're discovering their spirituality, and they've been in a career that may have been deep in the belly of the corporate world amongst so much darkness, and then they've come to realize there was a reason they were there. They were shining a bright light in a place that it was needed, and we've all been strategically placed, I feel, where we were needed. So we've been on an amazing roller coaster ride and journey of awakening together, where we began connecting and channeling all of a sudden.
A group called the Nine.
Yeah, found out our spirit guides were the Nine. And we connected with this beautiful benevolent council of beings called the Andromedan Council of Nine. And that was how we came to be gifted this beautiful course for humanity, to help heal humanity from the harmful components of these things in the arm that all happened around 2021 onwards. And so it's just been the most incredible journey and gift. And we are now spreading the word because we're really fulfilling a prophecy.
That's what we were told.
To heal the masses on planet Earth.
Fulfilling the prophecy of Jesus Christ, healing the masses on Earth.
And all those who do this course, like you, AJ, are actually going through a beautiful Christ consciousness healing activation as you do the course. So how have you been feeling?
I'm amazing. So just since starting the course, it's being reflected at our live events that we're doing. So in our live events, people come, and we've made it very ceremonial now. So it's kind of like, it's very communal. People feel safe and everything else like that. And then when we do, Nicola Light is now joining us on our events, because she's bringing in these amazing light language activation codes. Does a real great session with people, and tuning session as well through the voice. I didn't realize I could hold a big note to like as long as I did till our last event. But it just goes to show you how much the voices and the vibrations, like awakening at the same time.
There was the word.
And opening the vagus nerve using things like that.
Absolutely. And then when I do my session, which is all very much about taking people to a high state of consciousness through the breath, and then I take them into an astral healing session and into a galactic med pod where they literally get healed from their soul family. But that's coming through me into the room through Arcturian and through obviously those like powerful healing energies, and those have increased quite significantly. Like since I started doing this course. So and I put it down to the same as everything. Like, it's when you take that like universal organic aligned action into anything, and you step forward and you actually start doing it, you're doing the work, it starts reciprocating. And everyone in our community who's like gifts are coming through and stuff like that, who's doing all this work, it is a product of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's exactly the same with the course. It's like there's a huge thing for me personally, and for the people that I can then work with to help them remove, you know, this poison, and give some liberation to them. So do you know what I mean? I've taken that aligned action by doing it, and then my universe is reciprocating that, and it will be exactly the same for anybody who goes down that path.
Yeah.
And the course is fully channeled, and even the name of it is just so significant, Return to Sovereignty in God, because it's so much about giving people back their sovereignty, or people taking back their sovereignty, and us helping that to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just such a powerful thing to do, to take back your sovereignty, and you do it through self-love embodiment, which is so huge. It's like the journey that I've been on and the difficulties I've been through on this roller coaster ride of a journey. I keep referring to it that way because it literally has been like that. So full on learning very quickly. And we have channeled that from our guides too, that we chose to come in here. And I feel like many of us that are star seeds here at this time there are some that woke up years ago and they've gone through a tough journey of being aware for so long, and nobody, you know, everybody thinking they're absolutely nuts, and also being very heavily attacked too by the dark. And then there it seems to be such a majority who chose to wake up in 2020. Around that time, we all just woke up like a light bulb.
I was shaken,
and part of our mission here, we discovered quite quickly, was to help people jump on that path and their purpose, because we did many, many readings for people when we first became exposed publicly to people through YouTube. And the wording that we were gifted in a channeling that we read out on this video was like coding that activated so many people out there who just had to connect with us. And then it was all about helping them to remember who they are. And now I feel like it's so important that we all remember to embody self-love.
And we don't want to forget the people who, you know, who have had taken this thing, and, you know, it's not talked about so much, but we've got to, you know, it's like in war, we can't leave these people behind. You know,
no one's getting left behind, and this is a
no
big
one's getting left
thing.
behind. Is that right, AJ?
We're all here for each other.
So we're all soldiers at the end of the day, and like just like your awakening process, you know, that's mirrored with all the training and traumas and everything you've endured individually your entire life. Like you've had to go through all that training for now to do what you're doing. It was already planned. Like we all seeded here from somewhere else to come and help liberate Earth. So you've got like a large percentage of souls on this planet who have been humans on this planet all this time, right? The 26,000 year cycles, and millions of us come here knowing full well that there's an ascension process that was starting in 2012. As the planet started evolving, because Gaia is a living, breathing organism, and it's all been about distorting and poisoning the planet, and the ritual is paying us to do it. So, you know, paying people lucrative wages, like to be on oil and gas refineries and in the mines and stuff like that, like bleeding the blood of Gaia. Like that's the big ritual, and offering lucrative wages as a way of doing it. But what people are really starting to understand now is as they're stepping into their roles, or people are at that point where they're literally on the edge of their seat, like, I know I'm here for something, but I don't know what it is. You know, there's so many people like that at this stage. Just know you're not alone. I know that like the number of people who are in your position is increasing literally by the second, because of this organic awakening as well. So, you know, I explain to people on my social media, like the population's gone from 2 billion in 1950 to 8 billion in just over 70 years. It's increased like 300%. Like, so what does that say to you? That says that like all of you here watching this content, every single person who's connecting with this and is resonating, you chose to come here, but you didn't just choose to come here because you were like, oh, that looks fun. Earth is in fact the hardest planet to live on in the universe. So you've actually been in competition. You've actually been in competition with billions of other souls to even come here in the first place for ascension. Right. So just remember that. So if you're watching this and you've had 3 or 4 or however many pokes or whatever it is, right, you know, that's part of your awakening. Like you chose to come here and go through these harshest lessons, like for now and what comes next. Okay, so the course and everything that you're doing, the work you do, the work that millions of others are doing out there is all part of this collective operation because we're all soldiers in the same God's army.
That's right.
We've all just been heavily poisoned and have multiple viruses put into us and programmed since the minute we're born. Like, so please know, like, and give yourselves a freaking higher self high five like that, right? Because like you've endured all of that to get here. Like, so it can only show you how frigging powerful you are if every agency and entity out there is constantly trying to attack you and poison you and your children. So you basically die a slow death over time whilst being customers. So well done. So I'm moving forward now. This is all about unity, isn't it, girls? It's all about, like, you know, it doesn't matter what your choices were in 2020, 2021, 22, right? It's all about your choices now.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
Want to heal and ascend
whatsoever. God loves all of his children equally.
Yes.
But the lesson of sovereignty, he said, is one of the most difficult.
Yep.
And so
and the most important.
And the most important. That's right. So that's why this was gifted to us through the Andromedan Council of 9, beautiful, benevolent, galactic body of beings. They come from 9 different races across the galaxy and the multiverse. Ancient, benevolent, loving beings, and they all have different abilities and ways of communicating and roles to play. Good, yeah, well said. So we've got a few other things we want to mention about the course for anyone that's interested. There's a 3-year initiation period where you are required to do the healings in person, and that's for a reason. And it's to spread the word of God. And we may sound religious, but it's not. It's to bring hope and back into people's lives. And he wants that to be done on the ground. And that's why we're so thrilled. And in communities, bringing them back together, people talking to each other. And that's why we're so thrilled that we do have facilitators all over the world now who are doing that. And especially you very soon, AJ, and that we also work with Jesus Christ, and our faith is growing deeper and deeper with him as the weeks and months go by since this healing was channeled. He works at the heart because he lives inside of our blood, and it's within the course. It is Christ divinated, we believe. There's a whole module called A Message from Jesus, and you'll find that in the course. I would desperately love to read it out, but we have to keep some of it for those who bought the course. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's actually, I mean, you're talking about Jesus, Yeshua, however people prefer to use his name.
Yes, light is okay.
And it's like you're saying, we all have that within us, because and that's a big part of like what I show people on a daily basis, is like all the things that's designed to take you away from going inside and where all that energy is, and working with those healing energies yourself. And these powerful Yeshua healing energies is part of helping people remove this stuff, right? Because that is the genuine power of it, and it's not religious. Yeshua, Jesus Christ, has been completely weaponized by the Catholic Church, the Roman Empire, and multiple other religions to be a random external being that was just plain human, trying to act out like he was some superhero, and that's basically what's been depicted. But where actually it's getting everyone to turn that lens inwards, where all of the answers are, where all of the energies are, and everything else like that, right? And that's what this does at the very core, is bring people back inside to that energy they've been away from their whole life.
And there's a prerequisite for the course too, we should mention, which is Reiki 1 and 2. And anyone who doesn't have Reiki training to begin with and would be interested in doing this healing and doing the course, we now provide free Reiki as part of the training. So there's a beautiful woman in New York, Deanna Molino, that we have collaborated with, and she provides the Reiki training, which is fully online, and she does the attunement. Thanks. We like to finish each other's sentences sometimes. Help each other out. We're not real twins either. The reason we're called the Venus twins is our guides told us we were from the planet Zene in the Andromedan galaxy, and that we were identical twins from Venus. So there you go. We channeled that ages ago. So they gave us the name, the Venus twins, and said that we've been working with them through every lifetime we've had as healers. And so they also named our healing business that we have on our website, and it's called Wisdom Woven in Time Healing, because we've been working with our beautiful guides and the Council of Andromeda in all our lifetimes.
Such a beautiful name for the bit. It was
so
gifted to Georgie one day. And this is so beautiful.
This is our course manual that we printed out for ourselves. And that's what our logo looks like. And there's a really great landing page for the course that explains everything and has frequently asked questions and videos, and all the information you could need is on our website, which is wisdomhealing.com.au, and you just look at the courses tab and you'll find everything you need to know there. And
there's also a chat group that you join when you start the course, or I think somewhere within, I can't remember what module, you get access to that. So facilitators talk to each other.
We put regular updates
questions go on there as well.
Well, I think it'd be quite important to use this opportunity to just share some testimonials of people who have actually had the work done on them, because, you know, I've seen a lot of the testimonials, I've seen the results, and they're pretty emphatic. So I think it would be a good opportunity just to share some examples of people that you've worked with.
Yeah, I would love that. Like one part of the healing too that the council stipulated towards the end of the course, when we were finishing the end modules, was that when you finish a healing, or you have to write down what the person's pre-healing symptoms were, just briefly describe them, like the brain fog, fatigue, lethargy. These are some of the common ones: anemia, anxiety, skin rashes, boils, heart disease,
myocarditis,
headache, a lot of sharp pain in the head is a majorly common one, aching joints, inflammation, things like that.
There's been a lot of women especially have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis as a countries, that's got shot up massively in all countries as a result of these things.
I haven't seen
and the doctors are diagnosing it as that, where it's just like the crystallization in the joints, from the obvious, and that's what they're covering it up as, like, and they're doing the same in every country. Like you could search it all online, the last year's increase in rheumatoid arthritis and that's been diagnosed, and it's not, and fibromyalgia.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Where so they then said, well, we also want the post-healing symptoms to be written down
straight after the healing,
during the healing, and then 10 days after, because this is an energetic healing as well as a spiritual healing, and a very godly healing. But it's cellular as well, because there's they told us there's a 10-day detoxification period where the harmful components of the thing in the arm have time to release from the body fully through different body systems for excretion. And we have many feedback forms from clients, from our facilitators, their client experiences. We have also gone down the route of trying to get blood results, but we feel that the feedback forms are the original source of proof that we need, and also for the fact that working with Christ consciousness, when you do the course, you'll know who you're working with. You can feel it.
The thing is with bloods is that, like, it's still very much a 3D thing, if you know what I mean. Whereas like the actual tech in itself is quantum upwards. So we're not just talking about like cleaning somebody's blood. It's like we're talking about removing like luciferic AI,
Correct.
which is what people consented to in the first place. So just as a saint, this works in the same way. It's about giving your consent to have it removed, which is a super important thing. And I've been showing people on my social medias, and I've talked about loads with Farah on lives and podcasts and stuff like that about this luciferic AI. And it's for those of you watching, listening to this new information to you, obviously once consent's given to have anything put into your body, right, from somebody else, once consent's given, that's like a contract, right?
Yep.
So that you're then consenting to have this AI technology within you and your field. So in your energetic fields, that AI sits in your energetic fields and stays there, and then distorts the fields of people around you, and especially those that didn't have the new medicine. That's where people experience like all the, quote unquote shedding that people were shouting about in 2021, 2022. It's actually the AI is distorting your field, creating dis-ease within your body.
You got it.
Because we're here as like avatar cells. This is just a vessel, and it's about breaking down this vessel slowly but surely over time, and keeping us sick and keeping us indoctrinated and keeping us in these boxes, which I show people about all the time. So that's basically what the nefarious, beyond, or the quantum side of the agenda was happening. And also they wanted like 5 or 6 into people, so they were completely full of AI, totally controllable. They show you this in the latest Matrix movie, where all of a sudden all these humans' eyes just turn dark and they start throwing themselves head first out the window, and being controlled. So like that was the agenda. And I've actually seen this within police officers, like, because they literally they're not there. They're like soulless. So obviously I've been the observer all these years, and I've literally witnessed this with my own eyes. So that was part of the deep dark agenda. But also you've got to remember that like they knew the truth about it all was going to come out. They knew the media would finally get taken over and are literally putting it out there everywhere now. The UK media is definitely under control now, as in white hat control. It's all being leaked out. People are being told you can claim for compensation now, like all this kind of stuff. But they knew this was going to happen. So the part of the agenda is to then keep the fear going within the people that had them, because now they suddenly think, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to get a heart attack. That's why we're seeing all these heavily paid doctors. They're still being paid, that are going around the world saying how bad they are, even though they pushed them themselves, right? A few years ago, being heavily paid to do these conferences and talks and stuff like that, with no solutions. All they're doing is they're putting fear back into the people that had them, so that they think that they're going to pop their cogs early. They're going to start manifesting their own heart attacks. They're going to start manifesting all this stuff. So again, this is the little part of the agenda as well, which is what people got to keep their eyes open for.
Thank you for mentioning that. There's people also, putting fear into those that haven't taken the thing. And, saying that, you really need to have healing. And
But even the people who haven't had it still need healing, because they went through such a turbulent time themselves, like, especially in Australia, where you guys in Melbourne, it's like frigging Hunger Games. Do you know what I mean? It's like watching a scene of RoboCop, District 9 and all put together. Do you know what I mean? It was
I don't remember signing up for being here.
But it's just like,
I went to some of those bigger protests, and it really was quite.
It doesn't matter what your choices were. We've all been pulled through it, right? But there always had to be, guys. There always had to be a way shower in your family. There's always going to be someone in your family that woke up, whether it's at a time or before, and then like was trying to show you that it was all nefarious. Like, and I'm sure now many people are looking back at those people and thinking, wow, fair play for sticking to your guns this whole time. And that does take a lot of credit. People do need credit for that. Standing your ground against tyranny, while most of the world was being hoodwinked. You know what I mean? And it's credit to every single person who's gone through that, especially in Australia, especially New Zealand as well. It was horrendous. Western Europe and obviously the United States and whatever the friggin' hell Canada is supposed to be. Do you know what I
And
mean?
it's
But
really, there's an
So-
important thing to point out too, AJ, about this
Mm.
healing protocol in the course, is that there are other protocols out there, and they may be really good. We don't say anything bad about anybody else's protocols for healing these particular injuries. But the main point of difference in our one is that it's so focused on returning people to their sovereignty and their faith in themselves as well
and
as
the
God.
consent form,
And
which
so,
is
yeah.
the module 2.
Yeah.
The consent form's a very important part of it, which is where they read a beautiful document called Faith in God, which is part of the channeled teachings in the course, where it's
Should we
just
explain to people what channeling is? Do you want us to tell the people what
yeah,
channeling
that'd be great. Yeah, yeah.
people really understand it? So what happens is we were taught very slowly, very gently, using a pendulum, which is a crystal that sort of swings around, and it used to spell out things for us. And it was very, very slow and tedious work, wasn't it? It took a long time. And then eventually we became the pendulum would sort of spell a word, but we'd hear it before it had time to spell it. So we go, oh, we just said,
we heard that before.
we heard
said
that. What did? Oh, and they said, yes, we're training you to become telepathic. So then, eventually, then the message, the sentences, the paragraphs are just channeled through us, and that's it's called channeled. So we're kind of we're still there, but we're kind of not there. We're sort of standing back from the mic for a second while they sort of come forward, but they speak through our voice. And that's how the course and other stuff like the website and all the other
a lot of our work.
A lot of our work is channeled, and
And I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that because obviously I've done several sessions with you, you know, personally, and obviously we did it live as well with loads of community members.
First one we got channeled the Arcturian Council, and AJ was very connected to them, and it was very beautiful and moving. Message.
It's continued to evolve for us too, where we get a lot of visions now too with our third eye. So during healings, we're given a lot of information, whether it's messages, words, visual things, and that's what's been so beautiful in the feedback as well from the healers that are now conducting these gorgeous Return to Sovereignty and God healings on people. They're sending the feedback in, and they're giving us visions that they have seen during the healing, and that they're
so
all
beautiful.
Corroborating the same sorts of things that they're seeing, and the same as what we have been seeing. And a lot of them involve Jesus, and it is
and
just
water,
so powerful. Yeah, the power of using water as like a cleanse,
so symbolic, isn't it?
This is cleansing the body and the cells of the toxins, and so we often see some kind of symbolic vision of water being used and Jesus being involved in this, and a lot of angels too. It's a very angelic, powerful healing. I've never experienced anything like it. Not that I'm an ancient healer. I am, but in this life I haven't done years and years and years of healing, but I've still noticed how much more powerful this particular healing is, and I can't wait for you to experience that too, AJ, and start to give us your real feedback of what happens for you, because it really is very powerful and beautiful, very moving, very moving.
Things like, immediately after the healing, this is from one of our facilitators in Australia, did a healing with a person who'd taken one Pfizer,
and immediately had a heart condition.
And
taken to hospital in an ambulance.
Heart-related symptoms during the healing, waves of fever experienced through the body, pains in the body, flashing in the eyes, and then a feeling of massive release, described as being knocked out. That's an interesting one, post-healing. But during 10 days later, a heightened state of joy and happiness. This is a common theme that we see amongst people who've had the healing.
That's a good one. Had major emotional releases. That's another thing, because some people don't have physical symptoms after taking the juice, but they actually were coerced so much, and it was so damaging to them,
deep
emotionally, that they're very shocked by the emotional response.
Angry at themselves, angry at the establishment, angry,
a lot of grief.
Sad.
A lot of grief comes out,
especially for men who don't cry, or they cry. They may, it may take a few days, But that's been noted too, and how, what a miracle that is for some of them.
We've had
Really great.
We've had people come to us too that had body tremors, wobbly legs. They couldn't really walk properly, couldn't go very far at all. Exhaustion, couldn't do much at all in their day, and literally straight after, like the morning after they went home from having the healing, were able to run, skip down the street, just overjoyed, sent a message to us straight away saying, "This is a miracle. I cannot believe what I can do today compared to yesterday." People who had brain fog just were in a fog completely and didn't even realize how bad it was, then coming out of that fog immediately after the healing or the next day, and being amazed at everybody around them that feels like a zombie now, and they're clear as crystal and starting to manifest and starting to just really create a different life for themselves too. That is a side effect of this healing, a beautiful one, that it puts people onto a path of self-love and self-healing too, so that they get onto a more natural trajectory in their life of really taking care of their health and well-being and being more sovereign about it. It's really beautiful to see.
So I think that it also would naturally just peel back loads of the layers, because a lot of the part of this agenda is to close the third eye and to close off the crown chakra and close the heart, so that you don't descend, but also to soul trap people. So I know full well because it has happened to somebody in my family, and my family member died in November, and then I received a message of a lovely girl in our community who's a psychic, and it's amazing what she does. Very young, very talented. Like there's so many of her out there. That my family member went to her to get help to crossing over because they couldn't cross over. They died of turbo lung cancer after the fourth and flu shot. And it made sense because it was like, well, yeah, like I'm the only person in the whole family who would understand any of this. So it would actually resonate.
We have a beautiful prayer on our website for people who have lost loved ones from the thing, and in the arm, it's called the Sacred Prayer, and it helps those souls find their way back to God.
Oh, good.
It's in the course, and it's also on our website.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's very beautiful, and
but you can see it shows you how big the agenda is, isn't it? It's just not a case of like, it's the same playbook. You make up a threat like they do all the time, whether it's war on terror or climate change, whatever. You make up a threat and then you use people's fear against them en masse, and the collective consciousness projects that fear. So, from a military perspective, I'm always saying like, know thy enemy all the time. They've always known us better than we've known ourselves. So, and that's just been used and weaponized against us. That's why there's such a push to turn men into women. Do you know what I mean? To remove the alpha male, the protector, to dumb the male down, get them hooked on sport and accumulate betting and cocaine at the weekends and beer, spending half their wages on it to escape reality, because they've been pushed to the breadline by their governments, and they feel all they can do day in, day out is go to work all day just to pull a wage to feed their kids and pay their ridiculous electricity bills. Again, being blamed on another fake war on the other side of the world. And, at the end of the day, people have just taken it until this point. They've just allowed it to happen. But as a result of all this and this awakening, people are seeing past all those illusions now, and they're rapidly saying no. And part of this course and part of anything about it is, and when it comes to giving consent, is that your ability to stand in your sovereign power and say no. And the minute the minute you say no, your universe reciprocates that. It mirrors it. Okay. And what is the mirror of no? On. Right? You switch your power on. Okay.
I like that.
The minute you start saying no. All right. So that's just the very baseline, what you can get better at starting today. With everything going on in the world, you're working it out now. All the corruption, you're working out all the lies and deceit and everything else like that that's been waged on you and your family, collectively. It's not just those who didn't choose to take it or not. You've all been attacked by the same entities, okay? And you're all in the same army. So now this army collectively needs to fight back, and you fight back at an individual level by saying no. You start working on your health, you start working on your sovereignty, you start making that deeper connection and returning to God's source, because you all have it inside you, that God spark. That's where you came from. All right, you start turning inward and go to that, and watch your health and the people around you rapidly propel to new heights, like rapidly. So, you know,
Bravo. Well said.
doing things like your course, you know, at the very least, is going to allow you, for those who want to help people heal, you know, who are like me, who hold it dearly to their heart, who's lost loved ones to these things, but
Or
also
even just
the way,
help their family and friends.
the way I was treated. I had over 100 ex-forces people in a WhatsApp group against me during 2021, 2022.
Oh, yeah, I had the same thing, like a public stoning from the friends group. That was fun.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
so for me, this is like really it's going to be a liberation, because it's always been about we the people heal the people, because we heal each other. We heal ourselves, we also heal each other, because we are that powerful.
It's a ripple effect. It really is.
Yes.
All the work you do on yourself, all the work you do within has a ripple effect energetically that then spreads to all those around you and those you love, and affects the way they respond to your energy, and they heal themselves too. But I feel like it all comes back to self-love for me personally, and I think that's such an important lesson in this whole journey, and that's what this course focuses on so much. And then the healing itself too is just such an act of self-love, to consent to taking back your sovereignty and your power, and giving yourself that beautiful self-love in accepting this healing from God, and having all the harmful components of the juice removed from you. It's like any difficulty you go through too in your life. Like, I've recently had some pain. I've had pain in my back and been immobilized for a while. And it taught me so much, because suddenly I had this whole new appreciation of just being able to move.
Yeah, there we go.
Things.
Isn't that what God told us
the
other day?
Gifted me, you know, these difficulties and hardships we go through have a hidden gift, every one of them. And every experience that I've been going through, as hard as some of them have been, I see these beautiful gifts, and I can share them with others to help them to get through them, to help them to heal. But in the end, it all comes back to self-love for me, because now I have more love for my beautiful body and the vessel my soul is in.
Hallelujah.
And the incredible things that it can do.
Love it.
And I'm so grateful I can move, and I'm so grateful, you know, for
you
so
can move.
much. And that is connecting with yourself again on the deepest level. We're here having an experience in this human vessel, but we need to take care of it and empower ourselves. And the only way to do that is to really remember who you are, and really start loving yourself again in every way. It's nothing to do with ego. It's just realizing that you're a fractal of God, and that Jesus is running through the blood in our veins. You know, it's huge, huge. It's a miracle.
Yep, exactly.
I want to hear what Mark Passio call a definition of a sovereign being is. Is a good one. Yeah, he said it's a soul that's able to live their lives with a deep trust in themselves and a deep and loving trust in God within themselves. The word sovereign is derived from the Latin adverb super, which means above, and the Latin noun regnum, which is rulership or control. Thus, sovereign means one who is above the rulership or control of another, or in a word, free. So free,
And the big question people should ask themselves is, what does freedom truly look like to you?
Beautiful question. That's the second time I've heard that this week.
Yeah, and what does it look like to you? You know, because everyone's story is different. So there's not, you know, don't seek the like a one fits all answer for what freedom is. You know, the whole point of the last 4 years has been for you to discover what true sovereignty and freedom actually is. You know, it's actually been a gift, you know, and that's the way I see it. And if you can, you know, and it might involve making extremely big, bold moves, like I've done recently, you know, and there is going to be potentially a lot of upset people, you know, if you do need to make certain decisions. But when you know your soul path, and you know your role in it, and that just keeps growing and growing and growing, it's a huge beating drum that is not going to stop. until you pay attention to it and you start making organic aligned action and stop living in these cyclic lifestyles that don't serve you anymore and don't serve the people you're in them with. So, you know, like identify what like those things are, write down everything that gets you frigging excited, because you'll quickly see how connected those things are to your actual soul journey, and it'll all just, the dots will just join, and you'll just know. The knowings get stronger and stronger, you know. So you all know shit, ladies and gents, and that's just the cusp of it. So
you already are everything you need to be.
Does anyone have any questions there? Is that the sort of thing that you're looking at, AJ? Or I wasn't sure. We weren't sure.
Not so many questions as such. But is there anything that you want to? Is there anything you want to sort of share as a parting gift for all the viewers and listeners?
Yes, we would like to read out an envisioning for this beautiful healing, this course for humanity that was channeled by the two of us together. So we thought we might do that. And just got to find it now. Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you. Georgie's so organised. She's the organised one. Thank God for Georgie. Okay. All right. So
it wouldn't work if you're exactly the same.
No. We're kind of like like a comedy act at times.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. Right. So we learned this actually from how to do envisioning from our friend Jean Decode. And we did an envisioning for world peace last year. I think it was last year, wasn't it? Was it earlier this year? I can't remember.
Late last year.
Late last year, that's
very
right.
Powerful.
Yeah, and it was for world peace, and there was maybe 30 or different people had to prepare one, but we had to do it. It took us quite a few months because we had to get it checked with them to make sure it was written as a proper envisioning. So we decided to do one for this course, but then we just thought, why don't we just ask the council to give us the envisioning? So
we channeled it, and we were in tears when we channeled it, and the vibration we felt when we read it the first time was incredible.
It sort of sums up the whole course. It sums up what it's doing for humanity, and we'll finish up on this. Is that all right?
It's like saying a prayer, putting it out into the universe, but seeing it as done.
Seeing it as done.
It's already done.
Done,
you
and we
feel it,
and
you know it's done, and so it's an envisioning, and we did that for our course and for the healing.
So here we go. So we, the Venus twins, pray to Almighty God, His holy and only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit today now. This prayer is also an envisioning to send out Return to Sovereignty in God, the course, to all of humanity and those that need the healing from the things in the arm, which we've written there but can't say. We, Georgie and Claire, see all of humanity receiving the energetic blueprint of Return to Sovereignty in God, the course within their auric fields. We see and thank God for this miracle. We see healers throughout the world enjoying and learning the sacred channeled teachings from the Andromedan Council of Nine and the Nine, God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit, and we thank God for this. Thank you, God. We see love spreading throughout the world after the course has been completed by millions of people throughout the land of Gaia, and healing her inhabitants with its purity, love, and Christ consciousness. We see those affected and suffering from the things in the arm being healed by facilitators and return to sovereignty in God, the course all over the planet of Terra, Gaia, Mother Earth, and being free once more and connected to the God self within them. We see this is done, and we thank God and Jesus. We see Jesus walking hand in hand with humanity as this course makes its way into the consciousness of those ready to receive it and study the sacred teachings. We see this en masse as these beautiful souls, facilitators of the course, raise their frequency and vibration and feel a stronger connection to the God self within themselves, as well as they embark on this magical journey of self-love embodiment within the words of this God-gifted course. Thank you, God. We are eternally grateful and at your service and humanity's. We see this gift from you being seen and heard throughout the World Wide Web, all of the Venus Twins social media channels, and being shared by millions of others around the planet, bringing hope and reassurance to people suffering all over the world. This we see as done, and we look back and say, thank you, Almighty God. Thank you, dear Jesus and the Divine Holy Spirit. This is our envisioning, and we are grateful in sending this envisioning out to all of humanity, the planet of Gaia herself and all planets within our universe and beyond that. We see this as done, and we thank God for this miracle. Thank you, God. We love you as we love ourselves, and we thank you for this wonderful life lesson gifted to us from you in the sacred channeled teachings of this course, Return to Sovereignty in God, the course, Amen, and Tetelestai.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a
Thank you.
10-module, fully online course with videos, suits different types of learning. Have you found that, AJ? So if you're very visual, the videos help. There's lots of PDFs and a manual, and it's quite comprehensive. There's lots of information on our website about it if you'd like to know more. There's a private chat group for those that are doing the course, and you can stick with that.
It costs what it does because it's taken us many, many years to create and to continue to have on a platform, and technical, continual technical updates and many things like that. So if you don't want to, if you can't afford it up front, there's payment plans there.
I think the whole point of when it comes to stuff like this, people will be like, why charge and why charge it? Exactly what you said. People need to get out of this mindset that, like, we're still, and you guys are still very much in this, we've got to live in a house and all this kind of stuff. But like, please know that by doing the course, like, that literally comes back to you in abundance, because the minute you start healing other people and you this is then part of your mission, it all comes back to you in abundance. So, see it as an investment in yourself and all those loved ones around you, not a cost. Like,
we have been told by the council in a number of, we don't know how many years, could be 5 years or something, maybe more, but it will eventually be our legacy, and it will be for free.
Also,
or by donation.
We support all those
we
support all those who become facilitators and do the healings too. We have a list of facilitators worldwide on our website. So we have pictures and details of every facilitator that wants to be on that list. So it supports them to find, people can look up someone in their area and find someone that they can have the healing with if they don't want to do it with Claire and I. Or also we promote it. We promote it a lot to help the healers too, and get the word out to humanity and help as many people as we can.
Yeah,
that's what it's about now. Just coming together and use it, providing the tools, and at the same time the unity in the community to help people, get through like the last few years, but obviously like what's to come next, because it's not just about healing. Like, what's to come next is beautiful if we allow it. And it's just we can be our own angel, but our own demon at the same time. So also know, ladies and gents, that as you're going through these ascension processes, there are going to be people that come into your lives. There are going to be lots of light and dark energies that come into your life, because the brighter you get, the more the dark wants to try and attack you. Like, I physically, mentally, and spiritually know this myself, because I've been getting hammered the last couple of weeks. So be extra vigilant, be just extra mindful, and try and stay in a nice neutral place inside the heart. But as the observer, don't jump onto every single thing that comes on the news and fakery and stuff like that, and just spreading fear around and junk, because it just literally stays in you, and then you just project it constantly, and you can't punch through. Okay, so you need to release all those attachments. Like, all that stuff is literally for people just waking up now. Like, your job is not to wake. Your job is not to wake people up. Your job is to return to sovereignty and become that super powerful light being that you actually are, anchored in where you're supposed to be right now. And know that.
Start seeing spaceships like AJ is.
Like,
how cool is that orb? Oh my goodness!
I had another one last night.
What?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I had another orb last night. Yeah.
And tonight's a full moon, full super moon. Massive. Very powerful.
I had another white orb last night. The orbs are just like singular light beings that have come down from their main craft. They tend to come out of Merkabahs. So if people look, find the horizon, like wherever you are, if you look up slightly, Merkabahs tend to be quite low orbit. Like, they flash like red, white, blue, green, like really bright and like that. And if you can get 360 view, you'll see they're actually strategically placed in like 4 different directions, almost like a compass points. And yeah, a lot of
Amazing
people.
footage you found. Like if you say that, that's cool.
Yeah, I took it on my phone.
Filming, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my phone. Yeah. Yeah, it was like a little glowing moon. Just
I like
going,
you speaking to it. Hello, little pretty orb.
but you didn't hear what I said when I stopped recording.
Was the family going to say hi?
What did you say?
Yeah. I'll just say all kinds of stuff. Like, it's mad. It's just like it's.
Did you start doing what language to it?
No, a little bit. I was just speaking the language I've been speaking, which I've come to realize is a lot more Nordic Viking, and that's very much probably likely why I'm up in Lincolnshire, which is obviously where there's huge Viking lineage, right? And like literally every night without fail, it's just like multiple shooting stars, multiple swimmers, streakers, like obviously orbs. Constantly seeing cloak ships all the time. But my own personal circuitry in my own head's obviously just like firing up more each day. Obviously, I've spoke to you girls about the downloads I get, like they're just rapid and they're all very much military based, like Q based. That's why I can sort of look at stuff on the news and just go, yeah, this is controlled because of this. It's going to. Do you know what I mean? It's just all happens.
Yeah, amazing decoder. It's so much fun watching your stories on Instagram. I'm like, what's he got on today?
Yeah, it's turning into the news, isn't it?
You should make a book out of all the stories you've posted.
I have been saving them. Yeah, I have been saving them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
But then the telepathy side of the circuitry started to increase with Arcturian. So like I'm getting lots of downloads in native language as well. So, and but then there's lots of other keys and codes, and that's what we're all here for, right? We're just constantly getting keys and codes in different ways because it's a freaking game, you know, and we're just starting to kick ass at it. That's the way I see it. But yeah, and it's the same for anybody watching, listening. You know, you just looking in our community, like the amount of people doing light language now is like just skyrocketed, and a lot of guys are really starting to step into
becoming natural.
The guys are starting to really step into their power now and making moves, and a lot of them go down the healing route because they're just so drawn to it, and it's so beautiful. Good. Yeah, it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to be a part of. It's beautiful to be the observer and just be connected to amazing souls like yourself, like all around the world, doing all the work and bringing all this stuff forward. So thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Well, please put it out there to all those beautiful men. Join our army.
Yes, the real army.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, girls, for taking the time out today, and obviously sharing this abundance of fantastic information about your course. The link is on the screen. I'll obviously put it into the show notes as well. Please do take a look at the course, ladies and gentlemen, even if it's to heal yourself or to help people all around you, and hopefully it'll be very much part of your soul mission, your soul journey moving forward. And please do visit the ladies at wisdomhealings.com.au. And again, I'll put all those in the show notes. But thank you once again, girls, for taking the time out and spending this time doing this live. It's always great doing lives with you girls. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. We can't wait till you start doing the healings, AJ. Can't wait to hear your powerful experience.
Yeah, that's going to be something else.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Likewise,
see everybody over the world, and especially over in Old Blighty.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you. And ladies and gents, look forward to another fantastic episode of the Age of Rob show coming up very soon, where I'm joined by the wonderful Kimberly Palm, whose guides are Yeshua, and we went through literally like what's happening on the world at an optics level, what Donald Trump is, who Melania is, who all the children are, where they're all from, what the real story is. So look forward to that on Thursday.
That'll be a beauty.
Looking forward to that Thursday evening with me and Kimberly. But for me, the Venus Twins, look after yourself. Go and take a look at their course. And I'll see you once again very soon on the AJ Roberts Show. Much love.
Bye, everyone.